to start assessing myself in relationships. Now, usually, relationship with others might be good enough, and I can enjoy it. I don't have to work too much on it. People like me, I like them, it's okay. But I have been reading a book, How to Deal with Difficult People. There is where the relationship is, attention should be paid to, because not everyone might be so easy to deal with. And you all know it, not so? But there is a natural law that says there is always 5% of people may not like you so much. So what do? If you can identify 5 people that may not like you so much and your relationship is not so healthy, what do you do about that? Anybody? Do you fret and cry and worry? No, we got to work on it. We got to accept it. And sometimes it may be for various reasons. And we may begin to think so many reasons, and those reasons will make us think more and more. And instead of trying to pay attention to see what we can do to make it more successful, we may begin to have a more resentment and build a wall, a cold wall, that it gets from bad to worse. Sometimes 2 people living in a house, and they may stop talking to each other because of so many reasons. Recently 2 people were having a real challenge in a relationship, a husband and wife. So the wife had exam to go to write the next day, and they're not talking to each other. So she wrote a note and put it on her husband's pillow and said, "Wake me up, 6 o'clock, I have exam." She didn't want to say anything to him because they were not on good terms. So what do you think happened? She didn't tell him. She wrote a note. So he didn't read the note. So he didn't wake her up. And she didn't go for exams. When she could have said to him, "Kindly wake me up in the morning, 6 o'clock." But there was such a barrier in the relationship that they didn't speak to each other. Exam passed, went, she didn't go. And she told me she realized what was the reason that she didn't speak to him. I said, "Okay, you didn't like what he did, but what is the other reason?" She said, "I thought I was having some ego and I didn't want to say it, but then I lose out." I said, "So what's the lesson learned?" She said, I think I should be more humble and cross that barrier where I feel I was too good enough to speak to him, but then he wasn't good enough to wake her up. So who lose out? So it happens like this. People, for various reasons, the relationship may go from bad to worse. And it's a lot of expectation that one may have. I did something. Sometimes you can be doing a lot for another person just to please them, but you didn't really like doing it. So a time will come where you will tell the person, "Well, I've been doing so much for you, and you don't do anything for me." And here's where some conflict will come. The other one will say, "Well, I did so much for you too, and you hardly also do anything for me." And so there is that expectation of doing for each other or pleasing each other maybe. And a time comes where they will say, "It's the same thing again and again. You're telling me I don't do for you." And that fabric of a good relationship will start deteriorating because expectation will be there. When it's not fulfilled, disappointment is there, hurt is there. And all these things are the fabric of relationships deteriorating and success will be fading away. So if we were to look at it, we'll see many, many reasons why the relationships are not so healthy. And people suffer a great deal. There's a lot of hurt in relationships nowadays. In marriages are heading for the rocks because there's so much of grossness and expectation, and physical needs are not being satisfied. And so people are heading in a direction where they're losing the true significance, the value. In relationships, people really want to feel being loved. They want to feel being valued. People want to feel safe and secure in a relationship. Whether it's a mother and child, parent and child, whether it's between spouses, whether it's with a teacher and a student, whether it's with a worker, an employee and an employer. People want to feel valued, loved, respected. And from the moment things start changing and there's a shift from that which is ideal and good and respected and valued to that which is not respected, valued, we realize something is going wrong. What it is going wrong? Is it with me? Is it with others? I remember as a child growing up at the age of 11, 12. One day I realized something happened. About 10 people vexed with me for that one day. And it dawned on me in the evening when my best friend, who is my sister, was not so nice to me because I was not so nice to her. And then I thought, listen to yourself. And at that young age, I realized, you know what? Something hardly had to be wrong with those 10 people. It had to be with me. It cannot be with 10 people. Somewhere I went wrong. And I realized I had a little temper. I got a little angry. And because I was at a stage where there was a little hormonal change in my life, entering puberty, etc. And I didn't realize that was the cause though, but I realized that something was wrong with me, not the 10 people. And that was a deep realization that, yeah, couldn't be wrong. 10 people couldn't be wrong. I had to be wrong. And then I see where I went wrong. The little temper made me red. And when I watch my face in the mirror and I say, no, I'm looking so red, something wrong. That's not me. Then I felt a sadness came over me. Then I felt hurt. Then I felt, and I started finding out or realizing all the things that were happening to me at that young age. And I took that lesson with me throughout life from that young age. So getting to know why things are happening and not blaming other people for it can help us in improving our relationships. So we can know all the ills that cause the unhealthy relationships or the not so successful relationships. And we know all the good things that we do to enjoy a relationship in harmony. We feel blessed when we have good relationships, isn't that so? We feel happy. We enjoy life. We enjoy a good quality life. And because we enjoy that, the energy flows freely. There are no hinks there that will say the energy is not flowing and I am stuck somewhere. No. So I have to re-examine this whole thing and see what it is I need to do to enjoy relationships that we can term successful. And what are the things and the input I can use? So one of which is starting with the self. How do I feel? A relationship with myself. Do I love myself? Do I enjoy who I am? Or I want to be someone else? That intrapersonal relationship. I got to really realize something. Probably I was too gross, too physical. And I lost myself on the journey of life. So what do? I may need to journey inwards and see, well, find myself. And one of the ways to find the self is to see myself not only as a person, a human being, a teacher, a student, an employee. That is one thing. I can check and assess myself to see, am I really putting the input in my job that I need to do with honesty and commitment, etc., is one thing. I can check all those physical things. But if I am to really enjoy a relationship with myself, I got to know myself. Throughout life, people have been looking outside to find the answers to all the questions about the self. Some answers are there, but the real answer is when I can know myself, the type of person I am. As a person with values and identifying these values and enjoying them and using them in my life. But there might be a higher level of knowing that I will need to use. And I may need to explore a spiritual dimension and ask myself, well, okay, I am a student, I am a teacher, I am an employee, but really, is there anything more about myself I need to know that I can enjoy and allow that to blossom and show my true self? What is an indication of myself, my true self? And if I can really explore this from a spiritual dimension and know myself as a spiritual being, I can enjoy being my true self. Peaceful, loveful, happy, truthful, honest with myself. And so I begin to interact from a position of truth. And not only that, the energy that goes with it, coming from that sacred space within me, is charged with love, peace, happiness. And if that can happen, and I am stable internally, whatever happens out there, all the invariables, I'm able to handle it. Especially in relationships and whatever circumstances that cause things to go a little bit off. So if I start with myself with an intrapersonal relationship with myself, love myself, have self-respect, good self-esteem, have confidence in myself, faith in myself, the relationship with myself is still successful. I can handle life, regardless of what. I am stable internally. All those variables, they come with a package. Something somewhere I'll need to fix. And I'll have that ability, that power, that determination, that capacity, because I've built my own capacity inside. so I can strengthen myself. And I will term that to be a successful relationship with myself. I love myself. I enjoy what I do. I look through the eye of positivity out there with people. They may have 99 bad qualities, but I may see the one good quality, and that is a way forward for success. But when it comes to other people, there might be challenges. So I'll have to have a determination. You know, it's good to plan. When I came to the Brahma Kumaris, I looked around and I see there are people. And I said, wherever there are people, there might be some misunderstanding and conflict. So I told myself, I got to safeguard myself. I don't want to get into that. I didn't come here for that. And I had some thoughts in my mind. I was young, very young, my early 20s. But I got a thought. And I said, look, there are people around. I need to be able to make sure I do not get into difficulties with people in relationship. And then a thought came, I will not be instrumental to make anyone lose their fortune of whatever spiritual task they have and service. And I will not allow anyone to make me lose my fortune. And I will go along this journey, however the path is, winding up and down, but I will want to shine out as a flower and blossom and not be a thorn. And I did it. Of course, there were some challenges in between, and there will always be something, but those thoughts safeguard me to have a plan to enjoy the best of relationships. And so one of the things that helped me was I was open-minded and said, you know, things come, things go. But as they come, however good or however bad, and enjoy the good and manage the bad. And so my open-mindedness, some little innocence, some bit of spiritual maturity helped. And so success can come with all these bits and pieces coming along in relationship. You begin to value relationships, strengthen relationship, and put significance to it. Another thing can help in success in relationship is communication. Communication should be honest and filled with that kind of openness. It can be a communication that is not only one way, but two-way communication. Once communication is there, we can understand each other better. We wouldn't take for granted he or she should know what I'm thinking, no. And when we understand through proper communication, there will not be misunderstanding and conflict. And that is what is lacking in relationships these days. People take for granted, you know what I'm thinking. Another thing that can help us is to be able to have that mutual respect for each other. What is lacking is respect. People talk to each other how they want, when they want, they say whatever. And that real respect, that mutual respect is not there. Once we start disrespecting people, conflict comes, anger comes, here it comes. So if we have that mutual respect, we are building the block for success in a relationship. And sometimes we are in a relationship, whether it's the parent and child, especially nowadays with the young adults going through all their phases in life. The parent may say, this is right. The young adult may say, that is not for me. I don't want it that way. And the parent may be speaking all the time and saying, you do it this way, you do it this way. The adult may say, well, I am not taking that on, I'm ignoring it. But the parent may not be or make themselves in a position to listen to the young adult. So active listening in any relationship is important. Sometimes you speak a lot, as I'm speaking, but no one is listening, maybe. In the world, people speak and they don't pay attention to who is speaking, what is being said. And it happens in the world, especially with anyone, it can happen, but parent and child. We need to have active listening, listen to the other person's point of view. They feel respected, they feel valued. Then you understand. So active listening is important in that. Sometimes we want to compromise in the relationship. Yes, compromising, meeting on the half is okay. But when we start to over-compromise, we can be taken for granted, And so that can be a disaster in one way. But yes, we can meet on the half in a decision. We can say, okay, I understand. I will attend the program with you once a month, and you can attend my program once a month, and a compromise is there. But we don't want to have over-compromising. It may cause a conflict. Another thing is honesty in the relationship and trust. Relationships are going down the drain and down the gutter because not everybody wants to be so honest in a relationship. And when there is no honesty in the relationship, there's lack of trust and success breaks down. So a success in relationship can be deal with each other with honesty, so trust can be developed. And when we begin to trust each other, it's a powerful thing. You'll find immediately the energy goes up. And energy starts flowing freely. There are no dark areas or blockages. And so what happens there, our burdens begin to decrease that we would have been carrying because of lack of trust. Our barriers are removed. And our bondages go. And energy starts flowing freely. And we begin to respect and enjoy each other, enjoy whatever activities are there, because something happened. Energy shift. Awareness shift. Consciousness shift. Vision shift. Excuse. And joy comes in the relationship. And things improve. Quality of life is improving. So it is important to be able to trust each other, understand each other. Excuse. So when we can find some kind of common ground, we can be able to enjoy the kind of energy, the kind of dynamics in the relationship that goes to a higher level. when we are able to use the tool of spirituality in relationships, success becomes our joy. It becomes a power. Because it's no point just being there at a physical level. If we can develop a relationship with the Supreme Source and take that energy, fix ourselves, and share it with each other, then there is power in that relationship. And we enjoy each other. We enjoy good living. We enjoy success. I remember one day when I was working, I came from school teaching in the afternoon, and there were people already outside waiting for their class. So I hurried, get myself ready for the class, and my other sister with me, who is about 20 years younger than I am. She was also ready for her class, but in the moment, she said to me, when we were getting to the class, she brought out a little Pietrax and two little champagne glasses, and she said, "Sister, let's have a toast." So I said, "Oh my, we're already late for the class. People are waiting on us. Can we toast later?" She said, "No, let's toast." So I thought it was her exam she passed, but then said, no, the result didn't come out. Then I thought, it's her birthday. Then I said, no, it's not the month for her birthday. Then I said, so what's the reason for the toast? She said, "Sister, let's toast to good living. I enjoy living with you." And I thought that was quite cute. I said, okay, we'll talk about it later. We had the toast. We did have the toast. And we went off to our classes. She went one direction, and I went in another direction. But later on in the evening, we spoke about it. And I really did appreciate her realization of valuing relationship and what is good living. And I found that the foundation of that was spirituality. That spiritual awareness brings good energy in a relationship. That spiritual awareness make a house that people live in into a home sweet home, because there is success in the relationship. It's not a relationship based on you do for me and I will do for you and count how many times we did for each other. No, it goes beyond that. And so you begin to realize that this communication, this mutual respect, this honesty, the trust that we have, active listening, remaining positive with each other, and seeing situation as they come and learning from it, pulling the learning out of it to make life better as we go along the journey. All these are fabric to good relationship, and building on it, foundation. We're building on each strand, each thought, each feeling, each word, each deed. All these things can help us to be able to be successful in relationships. And so the home where we work, the house where we live in becomes a home, because spirituality is a foundation. The place we work becomes a place of commitment, yet love, yet joy. I remember working in school, and the teachers will say, my colleagues will say, when I'm walking out to go to another class, wait for me. I just want to walk with you. Tell me something. Tell me something. I like to hear your words. And so we develop a kind of relationship that when we go to the car park to leave the school, we'll gather together. That's the only time we might have to talk because we're busy whole day. And one person will say, sister, meditate for me, please. My daughter is having an exam. Another one may come to say, my husband is given a lot of trouble. Send some vibrations. Another one will come to say, my wife is having a surgery. So all of them we had this relationship, or they had with me and I had with them, that they thought there's some spirituality there that can help them. Okay, so that made me feel I cannot be careless in my thinking. I have to be so clear about who am I and how God's energy can empower me so I can help all these people. No point I ignore them and they expect some kind of help. And so our relationship became that which was so meaningful, so valuable, so sacred, that it brought success amongst the staff, with the children, in their exams, in every aspect. Because when I go to this class, I will say, okay, let's get ready for learning. And they will know that means to say, they will be in some silence and they will think, I'll tell them, think of what one thing they can do to concentrate in the lesson today. Think of yourself by the seaside, enjoying the breeze and the beauty. Feel you're in a flower garden, enjoying the beauty. Think of God, one thing that you think God can help you in today. And so the relationship with the student became so special, with so much love and respect, that learning was a joy. So in relationships, when we start improving our kind of thinking, consciousness, awareness, then it's like you can't help being in a flower garden and not enjoying the fragrance. Such is life. I enjoy life because I enjoy relationships. I do value them, and I'm sure you all value and would like to value relationships. So let's think and keep that sacred part of us, one that is open, one that is beautiful, one that is significant, that we enjoy, even the air we breathe, even the earth we walk on, even anyone I see that comes in my vision. Even though we don't speak, there is that silent relationship of a good wish, a pure feeling. I wish I can sing the song for you. Relationship makes the world go round. Relationship makes us filled with joy. So I'd like to say thank you. And next on the topic is question and answer. So let's have some questions and answers. Let's share something somewhere by someone. Anybody?
Okay, the floor is open for anyone to ask a question.
Okay. Let's have a question or two.
Yeah. Om Shanti sisters and
Om
Sister
Shanti.
Jasmine, I'm on. I don't want to be the one asking the questions. So I'm just putting my mind in a certain space. So perhaps you can evoke some questions like, okay, so I have someone who has really been bothering me, has been really giving me a hard time. I'm putting it into a work situation. They've been really doing some things that would prevent me from getting a promotion. And I'm very disturbed about it. How can I improve that relationship? How can I give them good wishes and pure feelings? Because they're really trying to derail my progress in my profession. Can you give us some tips on how to deal with that?
Yeah, and it's a norm in many places with many people. And the key to that situation, do you know? It's jealousy. People envy, people jealous. They don't like to see people progress. They don't like to see people go up in the ladder. And so what is yours will be yours anyhow. But the emotions that come with that kind of scenario is sometimes you can't speak to that person too much about it. And so the silent service of spreading positivity, good wishes, pure feelings can work one way, then that way. But the laws come into being for promotion, let's say. One has to be qualified that much for that post. And so the higher level of authority may have to step in at that time to say, okay, this is your years of service, this is your qualification for it. And one or the two will have to get it, and who has the qualification. And so the whole policy of promotion, the laws of promotion, etc., will have to be the principal or someone, let's say in a school, will say, okay, this is the position. This one is 2 days in service more than you, and whatnot. So that will bring things under control. But together with that, we need to really put this type of scenario and person into a higher level of energy that would bring some kind of change and shift in their thinking and being. I remembered I was in a situation not so much like that, but when I was asked to go for my interview for head of department, I didn't want to because I thought it's quite a lot. My hands are filled with the center, but then I was the qualified one who had to get it, who had to apply. And then if I didn't, the last teacher came, had to go because they were cutting staff. But when I got the result and I passed, and no, that is a hard thing to pass. One teacher said, I knew the people. That's why I passed. So she didn't tell me, she told somebody else. But the principal heard it and said, he called her, he said, I heard this. Why did you say such a thing? Which was something that I think he should not have even gone into. But she said, to tell you the truth, sir, I felt jealous. And then she came to me and said, I said so and so about you, and I know. I said, well, there were 12 people interviewing me, and if you ask me who they were, I can't remember their face or what the hairstyle was, etc. But she admitted. But when I heard it, that few days, from when I heard it to the next few days before she came, I had a lot of compassion for her, a lot of deep feelings. I never thought she would come to me and say what she said. And whenever I see her, I'll send her good wishes. I'll speak to her as if I didn't know. But that few days of the good wishes and pure feelings did work the magic that she admitted what she said to me. So, and Sister Mona, that
I'm
was
just trying to
that
be
was some magic.
I'm
And
just
then,
trying to inspire questions, that's all.
yes, but it was good. It was good. It's a good one for workplace. And it fell into my garden somehow.
Yes, you get that
Yeah.
often. Mhm.
Yeah, so let's hear. There might be some little thing that is bothering. It's not so easy. You know, and sometimes the relationship might be filled with a little bit of karmas here and there that we have to settle up. That is hidden somewhere. It will show up now and again. Come on, what about relationships that is quite expensive to maintain financially, emotionally, and otherwise? How do we maintain relationships? Come on, somebody want to say anything about that?
Mutual respect.
Yes, mutual respect. Good. Apart from mutual respect, to maintain relationships, we need to sustain them. Sustain relationship. We cannot only want one from a relationship. We have to give. And we don't want to give, or we're not talking about physically too, but we want to give a deep feeling from an inner feeling of goodwill, harmony, virtues, values, spirituality that keeps the relationship at a level of going up the ladder than coming down. We don't want to drain people of their energy and what they give, and we only want, it's giving is like receiving. You give your good wishes and pure feelings, you receive that. They give, you receive. And so I like to maintain relationships, sustain relationships. And sometimes people of long, long ago who I would have worked with many years would call me and say, I was thinking of you. I was thinking of, or I would happen to call. And they said, look, we don't speak to each other very often, but I feel like the relationship was always there. It's always there. Mm-hmm. And it's never like anything lost. So maintaining and sustaining relationship is important. We just don't take for granted all the time. Okay, let's have another question. Sister Mona, if they're not asking, you better ask some questions.
Well, I was thinking that sometimes because you are self-confident, you know, and you don't really, you're not looking for approval from anyone. You understand yourself. You might invoke some kind of jealousy, as you were saying, from the other person. And so, you know, sometimes you just have to have a little bit of, what should I say, humility in relationships. You know, we can't be bragging about what we do and, you know, that kind of making others feel as though they're not doing anything themselves, and that you're the one who's doing and getting, and they're you know, in relationships you need to inspire each other, I think.
Very
You
good, yeah. And once there is a fabric of you feel you're doing and you're better, something, yes, ego steps in.
Mm-hmm.
So whilst you're doing, you're inspiring and sustaining and maintaining, and so the other person, even if they're at a lower level of energy, they pitch up and they feel inspired and they don't see you as a threat.
Yes, you mustn't
Yeah,
let them feel, yeah,
and
you
so
must
it's
let them
like,
feel less than.
I see it, I am aware that sometimes in relationship, I feel I need to secure that relationship, you know? I need to secure it, that I don't want anyone to feel threatened. And
Yeah.
then, so, and that is a slogan that comes in my mind. Oh, I don't want that one to feel threatened. I need to secure and make that person feel, yes, you're valued, you're inspired, etc. And that's how it should be. Very good.
Yeah.
Because you don't want people to think you know it all, but you want to
Right.
inspire them to do better.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
I like that. I like that very much. And so
Mhm.
I call it securing the relationship. You know,
Yes,
that
that is,
Janki
yes.
said, Daddy Janki
Mhm.
said, you know what I value here is that I say to myself, look, we are sharing the same roof for this time that we are in. I do not know what will happen in the drama of life, that it can pelt me in a different direction or anyone else. But whilst we share the same roof, we should value each other. You never know what will happen. So enjoy it whilst we have it. Another thing I remember Daddy Janki said was, the wall may break, the tree may be uprooted, but relationships should be valued. Relationships should be valued and cherished. And I do like people, so I value it. Mhm. Someone once told me, don't ever talk to me for the rest of your life. And as the person then said that, I said, Om Shanti, guess what? A phone call for you. Come. I laugh it because I just told you not to talk to me. And the relationship mended right away. You know? Yes, the next question. Let's hear.
Om Shanti, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Om Shanti, this is Sister Linda. Sister Jay, I wanted to find out from you, how do you go beyond maintaining a relationship, whether it's with your spouse, your sibling, whoever, a sister, you know, an alaukic sister, brother, whatever, without becoming too familiar with that person, you know? Sometimes, like in relationship, you know the person's weaknesses, but you know, you don't want to know, but you're just thrown into that situation where you know. And how does one go beyond that and still maintain a strong hold? Because it does affect you. It's not impossible. It's a very difficult place to be. Do you understand what I'm asking?
Yes, yes, yes. You know situation, you know circumstances, and it does affect relationship. But one of the practical things I do, and from the early stage in this life, I got a realization one day. Look, Jasmine, you love people and people do love you. So I said to myself, I do not want my love to go out there misinterpreted or misunderstood. So, okay, I reached that stage where I do not want my love to go out there and be misinterpreted and misunderstood by people. Then I will get into some trouble. And I don't want to get into trouble. So I remember for 2-3 days, I was pondering on this. People can misunderstand me and think, I am out for something or something. All right. So one day in my meditation, I got the thought, sometimes in life you cannot change the circumstances to say that you are in with the people and the weaknesses, etc. But what should I do to safeguard myself and to be able to handle what is happening out there? So the thought came, which was really an unusual thing, to save my love. I put like a barrier between myself and the person or the situation, and save my love through God. So when my love goes out there, it will not be misinterpreted or misunderstood or taken advantage of. Or if it will reduce in those days I didn't know it to be that, but now I can say it will reduce the tendency of familiarity. Now I can say it, but those days I didn't use that word. But I said, let me be so God conscious whilst I am a child of God, a soul, a spiritual being, to put God as a barrier and let that love be saved as a sieve going out there. So it will go there as pure as it can, as spiritual as it can, filled and charged with goodwill, pure feelings, etc. And it does a job well done without being misunderstood. And it saved me. And I wasn't affected because I would have gone through some things that, could have been conflicting or so, because, I came young and I was able to do a few things and I was working, etc. And maybe the scenario wasn't the best for some other people. But that's what I did, and it worked for me. Receiving your love through God's love.
And is
No.
there a point in the relationship where you see that something is amiss? Well, let's just say there's dishonesty that is taking place. Do you talk about it to the person, or do you just ignore it and still give cooperation, of course, still guarding yourself, of course, but do you give the person an audience or bring it to the person's attention? This is not the right thing. This is dishonest, and what should be done?
Yeah, well, I would think if there is a level of dishonesty that has evidence to a great extent or some extent, why not? A conversation should help. And to bring the awareness, etc. Because if you know and you don't know, it's like you also being dishonest, and you don't say, it's like you also being dishonest. What do you think? That makes sense, Sister Mana?
Yes, yes. I think communication is very important if you want to really sustain relationships. But it is then how you communicate. And I'm always careful to not make them feel so bad that they have even more dislike or more lowered self-esteem. And so you have to find the right words and the right time to bring the problem or the situation into the place where you can have a conversation about it.
And then very often in those cases, it's a very good point. It's the time you do it and the place.
Yes, and how you do it.
How you do it, and your tone of voice, your
yes,
facial
and the words you
expression,
use.
and the
Yes,
words you use. But very often, to start with, the soft point is to praise the person for the good they have done.
Yes, yes, and
Praise the person.
appreciate
And
their
appreciate.
the relationship.
Yes, to
Appreciate
praise
the
the person, appreciate, and
Mhm.
sort of build their self-esteem before, but you say, there are areas that where you think that so much some more attention can be paid in this area,
Mhm.
so
Yeah,
attention can be paid, but a communication will be there, but then you want to also have some little evidence, if it's possible, to bring it out, and
yes,
you know,
yes. So that would be the right time,
because we cannot
and-
just take for granted what that the person is doing or not doing. The person may very well not be doing what they think they're doing, but it's a psychological yet spiritual kind of approach, and the approach is important in those cases.
And above all, you have to be able to forgive.
Yeah. And
You
then
have
you
to
don't
be able
carry
to
that
forgive.
baggage with you.
Yes.
So we have to be careful we don't carry the baggage and the burden and set up a barrier when it happens. Avoid
Yes.
the person. You want to free flow of energy. I think we are going beyond the time of this question and answer. Now we're supposed to have from 7:15 to 7:25 meditation.
Meditation.
Okay. So we have gone beyond a little bit. Mhm. So let us now have some meditation. Am I to do a commentary, right? Sister Sharda?
Yes.
Mhm. Okay, so let's start with some meditation then. So let us take a deep breath in. Breathe in the virtues. Of success in relationship, the peace, the love. Without any doubts or tension that may harbor successful relationships. Let's position ourselves into the awareness of a plain, positive feeling. That within myself, I feel I'm on a journey of such deep self-discovery. That I value the relationship with myself to such an extent that it brings me stability, inner stability. I love myself. I respect myself. I feel a wholesome feeling, a balanced feeling. And as I touch the sacred space within me, I allow the feeling of peace to flow. I feel that feeling of true pure love for myself as it flows outwards. It charges the atmosphere and all around me. There's such a feeling of faith in the self. This awareness pulls me to a higher level of consciousness. That supreme consciousness of God the Father, of all souls, my supreme parent. I can feel myself being pulled towards that supreme source of energy. I can feel God's love penetrating the soul. His vision on me is a child his special child who wants to benefit the self and benefit others. I can feel God's vision as seeing my intention of wanting to cultivate and inspire successful relationships. And as he sees me with that vision, he empowers me. He charges that pathway, clearing it from obstacles. As I begin to act and interact with others in the interpersonal relationships, I feel it's a spiritual network. Reaching each soul I come into contact with. And as that energy forms this network, there's a chain reaction to every soul this energy reaches. That they begin to value themselves in their own relationship with the self and value others. And so the whole spiritual dynamics in relationships grow and blossom and fruit, that we begin to enjoy each other, respect each other, love each other, and share this energy amongst ourselves. That we value each other. And there is where the success in relationships lie. Using that pure energy from within, connecting to God is supreme, and networking with others. That spiritual dimension, which is spiritual approach. Let's keep this awareness. And the quality of our lives will improve. And success is guaranteed. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
On behalf of everyone, I want to extend our heartfelt thanks to you for your powerful and engaging presentation on success in relationship. You reminded us of the value of communication, respect, trust, emotional growth, and the everyday choices that help nurture lasting and fulfilling connections. Thank you for sharing your time, your wisdom, and your experience. You have sparked important conversations and left us all with a deeper understanding of what it means to build and sustain successful relationship in all areas of life. You're grateful. We're grateful for your presence and look forward to future opportunities to learn from you again. Thank you once again on behalf of the Guyana Brahma Kumari Raj Yoga Center. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It was definitely a joy and pleasure, and all in godly service.
Thanks to you.
Thank you for this opportunity also. I enjoyed being with you.